Hi everyone, you are watching the Do It Yourself Trek series, and today we are talking about one such trek which I would like to call it is hanging high up in the air, and you have an iconic stairway that is climbing all the way to reach to the top of the fort itself. We are talking about the Harihar Fort in the Western Ghats of Maharashtra. This is the How to Do It Yourself section. In this section, we are going to be speaking. I'm going to be asking questions to Saini Krishnamurthy, who's done more than 200 treks in the Maharashtra region itself. Very specific questions about the trek. If you note these things down, you will be able to go do the trek on your own. So let's start off. The first question to you, Saini, is the travel from Mumbai to the Harihar Fort and back.
So Vishnu, if you want to go to Harihar Fort, you first have to get to Nashik. And from Mumbai, there are trains, outstation trains that head to Nashik early in the morning. There are quite a few trains. In about 2 hours, you can reach Nashik from Mumbai. From Nashik, you have to catch a bus, a state transport bus that is heading towards Trimbakeshwar, and alight at the base village. The base village is Nirgudpada. And when you're returning, you have to do the same thing. You have to wait for a bus that's coming from Trimbakeshwar, get onto that bus, get to Nashik, and then come back to Bombay from Nashik.
Great, Saini. How do you go about planning this trek in terms of the timings?
Vishnu, I think an early start from Bombay is preferable. If you can actually get to Nashik, by early morning, if that is the best. So if you can reach Nashik by say 6 a.m. from Bombay, nothing like it, because buses are more frequent in the morning. So if you reach Nashik well and early, you can get a bus to Trimbakeshwar early, and you can start your trek before the sun starts beating down upon you, and you can finish the trek in good time. And also when you're coming back, that way you would be back down by afternoon, and you will still get a bus back towards Nashik, and the frequency of the buses would still be good. If you delay it any further, then you might face a challenge in the return journey. So I would say start early from Bombay, reach Nashik very early in the morning by 6 a.m. Do the trek before the sun is high up in the air, and come back down and try to start the return journey towards Bombay in evening.
In case of the food and the water sources, how is it on this particular trek?
So Vishnu, in terms of food and water, Nirgudpada is the first place where you can get food and water. You can have breakfast at Nirgudpada. There are many villagers who provide food, and also they will provide water, drinking water. On the trail, during monsoons, there might be some freshwater streams. Otherwise, there are no water sources on the trek. On top, there is a water reservoir that has potable water, but take precautions when you're having that water. If you can, filter it, and ensure that you're having clean water. And of course, you can also carry your own water. 2 to 3 liters are enough for the trek.
Say for an average trekker, how much time would it take from the base to go to the top and come back?
If you start from Nirgudpada, you can reach the top in about 3 hours. You can take slightly less time if you're faster, but I would say on an average, you would take 3 hours to climb to the top, and another 2 to 3 hours to come back down.
Sounds like a good trek for you to do in a single day. Saini, which is the best time to visit the Harihar Fort trek?
The best, but also the time to be the most cautious is the monsoon. So Harihar Fort and the entire Trimbak region of Nashik is really, really beautiful in the monsoons, and you must not miss, monsoon at Harihar Fort. But at the same time, I would definitely stay very safe when you're climbing up the stairs, because the steps are slippery in the rain, so you might want to be extra cautious when you're climbing up and when you're going down the steps. So do visit the fort in the monsoon months between June, July, all the way to September, but stay safe and stay cautious.
Absolutely. Staying safe is of the highest priority, regardless of which trek you're doing in what season. Speaking of the difficulty of the trek itself, who is this trek meant for? Can beginners do this trek?
Vishnu, that's a good question. I would not recommend beginners to attempt this trek. not because of the difficulty or the endurance involved, but because the steps can be a little intimidating for someone who has not trekked before. I would recommend you do a few treks before you do the Harihar trek, just so that you are accustomed to seeing slightly difficult patches and slightly more steep climbs, so that these steps don't come as a big shock to you.
That's a great tip, Saini. So first have an exposure of doing a proper Western Ghat trek and then go to the Harihar Fort. You'll be able to manage yourself better. That's a very sound advice, Saini. So my next question to you is in terms of the money aspect of it. So which is the closest ATM to the Harihar Fort?
So there are two spots. One is of course at Nashik, you can find an ATM, and the other is further ahead from Nirgudpada. If you go all the way to Trimbakeshwar, you can find an ATM there. There are no other reliable ATM spots nearby.
How much money would you need to do this trek from your home to the trek and back home?
For a one-day trek to Harihar and back, I would keep around 1,000 rupees in my pocket.
Thank you so much, Saini, for speaking in so much detail about the Harihar Fort trek. This is truly a wonderful trek for trekkers to go and experience. For more details, guys, you can head over to the DIY section on our website, Indiahikes.com. You will find the complete documentation along with the downloadable GPX file, which you can download and go do the trek on your own. For more such videos, hit subscribe and click on the bell icon next to it to get reminded of our videos. To know more about the trekking world itself, follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.